Ever wondered how in the world I leveraged LinkedIn to exit corporate America without losing my day job? Guys, I am spilling the beans inside of my paid community, and I decided to bring this bonus episode to you. I hope you enjoy this. For those of you who have a dream of getting out of the 9 to 5 and scaling your own business, and you know LinkedIn is the place to be, but you don't want to lose your job while you build your business, you're going to want to listen in on this today. I hope you guys enjoy it. Need some effective, tactical advice that actually helps you get results and makes a real difference in your life and business? You've come to the right place. If you're finding yourself here today, it means you're getting ready to gain serious traction in your business, rapidly multiply your income and impact, and you're ready to make it happen while living all out. Guys, I'm Melissa Henault, your trustworthy corporate dropout turned six-figure business burnout turned happy and healthy CEO of a multi-million-dollar online business. And you're listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. On this show, we're serving up innovative growth strategies, simple implementation methods to put them into practice, and action-stimulating inspiration tailored specifically for the modern entrepreneur. Let's dive in.
Okay, so for today, my topic is I work full time, but I want to grow my business on LinkedIn. How do I leverage LinkedIn and not get fired? How do I leverage LinkedIn and generate leads and not get fired? So that is my mini topic today. I want to preface this. I grew and scaled my first online business while working full time as a senior level leader in a Fortune 500. And I had to do it incognito. I wanted the hell out, and I didn't want them to know that I wanted out. It was a cutthroat industry that was in a downsizing time frame where if you just sneezed wrong, you get fired, right? What I'm going to be sharing with you today is really the strategies I used to leverage LinkedIn without selling in the feed to still match my corporate income and get out of corporate America. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. If you're like, oh, cancel, I'm going to go do something else because this is not me, I promise you what I'm about to share with you will still apply. You'll find a lot of value in it. Okay. So the 4 components we're going to talk about is number 1, be an authority anyway. So be an authority anyway. You can't get fired for just having knowledge. So we're going to talk about that. Number 2 is grow an ideal network. Nothing's holding you back from strategically growing your potential client base on the platform. Your employer can't see or know that. Number 3 is review engagement and comments on the thought leadership posts on a weekly basis for follow-up. And I'm going to do a deep dive on each one of these bullets. This was what I did for like a year. And the magic happens in the DMs. So this is number 4, selling in the DMs. You're not going to be able to sell in the feed, which is not a bad thing. If you're employed full-time, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, the company you work with would lop off your head if they knew that you were doing something different. You're not going to be selling and saying, buy my stuff in the feed. Quite honestly, you shouldn't be saying, buy my stuff in the feed anyway, right? It's more savvy ways to do that. But you're not going to be open for business publicly. The other caveat or disclaimer I do want to mention for some of you that are watching this or listen to this later, some of you have your own demons in your own head that you shouldn't be promoting or growing your own business using LinkedIn because of fear of perception of others, but it's not a reality. We've had clients who are employed. I had someone come through who sold some clean crafted wine a couple of years ago, and it was a side gig. She just loved this clean wine and got a nice kickback from it. It was like a direct sales company. And she was a senior level in a pharmaceutical company. She went to her director and was like, look, I love this wine and I would like to make a side business out of it and promote the opportunity on LinkedIn. It's not going to inhibit me from working my day job. It's just a passion, just like real estate might be for someone else outside of their day job, right? And it's community and it's culture and it's fun. And I just want you to know that I'm not going to be doing this during my day hours, but you're going to see me leverage LinkedIn because it's my chosen platform to do this. I challenge some of you to have that conversation because that person in particular, her boss was cool. Like, where's the link? I want to hear about this wine. So don't make stories in your head. But if you're in like a toxic culture where heads are getting chopped off like I was, I literally had another director that I worked with reach out to me and be like, hey, your employee over there, she changed her profile. It looks like she's selling some other things. You might want to have a talk with her. That's the culture I was in. I certainly wasn't going to go directly promote in my feed. So here we go. Here's what I did that still allowed me to exit. So number 1 out of 4 is become an authority anyway. You can create content weekly that creates authority in the area that you want to sell in. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. Some of you, it's kind of cool. Some of you are pivoting out of your corporate careers or trying or have this goal or you're in the midst of pivoting out of something that you're doing in your day job that you just actually want to consult and come back and do on your own. That's actually a really easy transition, if you ask me, because no one's going to question you putting content in your feed as a thought leader in the realm that you're already a thought leader. It's just that in the future, you will not be employed by someone. So for instance, let's say you're a CFO for a company, for a big Fortune 500, but you want to break out of that, become a fractional CFO for entrepreneurs, right? You want to do your own thing. Well, guess what? A CFO is a CFO. Their knowledge is their knowledge. What is wrong with you being in the feed every single week, providing value and knowledge and expertise in the realm of finances and business? Does this make sense? The flip side of that is you may be a CFO, but you want to launch a business in basket weaving. I'm being slightly sarcastic, but that's radically different. No big deal. You can still talk about the strategies around basket weaving, right? On LinkedIn, you're not selling it. So what I mean is, even if you're making a big pivot or you're selling something completely different, doesn't mean that you can't be a thought leader in that space. So let me not go so polar and non-applicable. So let's say you are a senior level executive. Let's say you're a COO, but all of a sudden you've got this big calling to be a mindset guru or get into the woo space. What's wrong as the COO of any company being a thought leader once a week around mindset, about the key strategies that you're applying? This is what I started to do. I started to just talk about key steps, key strategies, key things around key topics. And I wasn't selling anything. But what's going to happen is people looking for people who have that subject matter expertise are, guess what, going to start engaging with it. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is they're going to be more likely to engage with it if you're growing a network of ideal clients. Before I get into growing a network of ideal clients, I want you to think about creating content weekly that creates authority in your area of expertise. And I saw that was some of the questions that came through with the hot seats today, and we'll talk about that. And then add value as a subject matter expert so that people start to see you, imprint on their brain that you are the expert. Give practical tips that create action and breakthrough. This is all about just giving a perception. You're not selling anything. You're just giving away free advice. You're just giving away free knowledge. What's interesting is those that it resonates with are either going to engage with you or jump in the DMs with you about this. Okay, so that brings me to grow your ideal network. So stop accepting requests from the non-ideal clients, right? So you may have a corporate gig, but you have this big vision and goal to really pivot and grow this new business. And let's say your current corporate role, the people that are trying to connect with you are connecting with you based off of your current corporate title, and they're not your ideal client. Stop accepting the request to connect with these people because you're training the algorithms that these are the people you want to connect with. So unless it's business necessary, stop. Your employer's not going to see that. Just stop. The next thing you need to do from there is strategically start to grow your network with the ideal people. So again, for those of you who are currently employed, you may be currently connected to a lot of people that are aligned to your current day job. Now, bonus, if they ultimately will happen to also be potential clients with the side gig that you're launching, that's amazing. But for some of you, for instance, we had a client who was an engineer who launched a real estate coaching business for, get this, engineers to invest in real estate. It was a really nice, easy segue, right? Because his whole network was a bunch of engineers. Then he got to start talking about real estate investing, and he already had an audience of engineers, and he started to strategically grow it even more. But for you, it depends on your scenario. If you're making a radical pivot, you may need to look at who do I need to grow my network with? Because it's not going to be enough to just post content weekly as a thought leader if you're posting it to people who don't give a shit, bottom line. So it's that old adage where my old business mentor, who was an ER nurse before she became a multi-million-dollar a year business owner and real estate investor. Now she costs $100K to work with her for 6 months. She never touched a LinkedIn account. And when she put content out, no one would engage with it. around who she is today. Why is that? Because her network was full of nurse college grads that she connected with a decade ago that are not her ideal audience. And guess what? They don't give a shit because they're not engaging with her content. So the second thing you need to do is on a daily basis, you need to be growing your network with ideal clients. Now, we have a whole module on this where you can go take a look at that. I'm not going to go into a rabbit hole about that today, but you need to be doing this daily. This is going to be the reps that you need to take. And then I want you to use open-ended messages where you can in the field. You're going to get a few of those a month, but use those. The second piece to that is be prepared when they do accept the request to connect to go straight to an open-ended question and get into dialogue with them. This is what I did. This is how I got into conversations. It's interesting. Have you ever noticed when someone requests to connect with you and you do a little banter back and forth in the DMs, are you more likely to see their content in the feed and be like, oh, that was so-and-so that I chatted with over in the DM? I don't want you to think about it being a direct sale into the DMs when you connect with them. That's not reality. That's going from swinging the bat, going all the way around the bases and going home on day one, right? Rapport building, connecting and having some conversation in the get-go is going to allow them to then see your content in the feed each week around thought leadership and that subject matter expertise, right? Make sense? The marketing begins once you're connected to them. So you guys have some homework on that to really strategically think about, if you're employed right now, is my current network full of people who mirror my current industry? Question number one. Question number two, is that ideal or is it non-ideal? Are they my ideal client or are they not? If they aren't, the next step is I need to start growing my network with potential clients. Okay. We have a whole module on how to do that. This brings me to number three. This is where the magic happens. So you have to do 1 and 2. You have to create content so that people know you're an expert, not showing your knowledge and expertise, right? Number 2, you have to grow a network in tandem with that. It's like a highway traffic. You're growing a network and the content is coming through the feed and they're seeing it, right? It's that repetition of know, love, trust in the feed, which brings me to number 3. That's engagement. Once they see your content and it resonates with them enough that they feel compelled to engage, this is what really begins to initiate the preliminary steps to the sell. What happens is they either like or they comment on your thought leadership post. And what I do is I call this Cleanup Fridays. So this is on your LinkedIn checklist. And again, I told you guys this is applicable to all of you, but I'm making it very simple for those of you who work full time. I'm telling you exactly what you can do to leverage LinkedIn and not sell directly in the feed and still be successful. When they engage in your thought leadership post, and we still do this to this day on Fridays. Why do I say Friday? I like to let my content grow and live on LinkedIn for a couple days. Unlike the other platforms, you'll get a notification and engagement on something you posted like 2 or 3 days ago. So I don't want to follow up and check the box on that post too soon. I want to let it live in the feed for a couple days, if that makes sense. So that's why I call it Cleanup Fridays. So I go in on Fridays and look at the posts from Monday through Friday. Typically, Mondays are going to have the most traction because it's been there since Monday, unless it was a non-ideal post people didn't engage a lot with. What I'm looking for is who commented and who liked. For the comments, the first thing you can do, and I encourage you guys all to do this, is to respond back to that comment. Create some pleasantries there. Acknowledge their comment, whatever it was, before you take it to the DM. This is just another point of contact. It takes 11 to 20 touches to sell anyone anything on the internet today. Don't let this disheartening. You can do the math on that. If you grow the connection, that's 1 point of connection. Maybe you ask them an open-ended question in the DMs, that's 2. Maybe they then see something in your feed that's compelling, that's 3. So they comment on it, you comment back, that's 4, right? Now you go message them in the DMs because you're taking it off the feed, that's 5, right? If it takes 10 touches, you're already halfway there. Is this making sense? What we do is, number 1, if there's a comment, we're going to make a comment back and then go have a conversation in the DMs. And depending on the comment, you may even say, hey, that's a really great point. Would love to take this further in the DMs. Check your DMs, check your message, right? Because again, these are for those of you who are flying kind of under the radar. You don't want to look like you're necessarily selling something in front of everybody you work for. So you're going to take it over to the DMs. The other thing on Cleanup Fridays that's really important is you're going to find, remember those 2nd and 3rd degree connections that are engaging with your content. This is golden. This means you created content that week, someone in your network engaged with it. And when they engaged with it, some other people in their network that you're not currently connected to saw it as a stranger and liked it so much that they were compelled to hit the reaction button, even though they don't know you. So many of you are missing out on growing hot connections by letting that disappear into your feed and never going back to find those people. These are people who were telling you, I am so compelled, even though you are a stranger, that I am engaging with what you're talking about. If you can grab 5 of those people a week into your personal connections and aggregate those over time, the activity on your account will skyrocket because you'll build a network of people who are showing you that they like and are compelled. So look for those second and third degree connections and go connect with them. And the moment they connect with you, the first thing you want to do is bring them back to reminding them that they were actually the first person that touched you. So when they respond to that connection, hey, thanks for the request to connect. Really loved your support on my post about fill in the blank, whatever that thought leadership authority piece was. This is going to be your inroad into conversations for selling. So number 4 is, after the cleanup, is selling in the DM. Now you've got them in the DM. What does the conversation look like? So with the thought leadership piece, what we're doing is we're asking open-ended questions that are relevant to you and their potential challenges and potential products and services that you can create transformation or change. You're driving conversations based off of your authority-based posts, and you're asking open-ended questions on the inside of the content. So let me give you an example. We'll go back to my example of someone who's a COO in a Fortune 500, but is trying to lift off a personal coaching and mindset business. Maybe their thought leadership post was a couple of quick tips on managing stress or anxiety in the middle of high pressure as a executive, blah, 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 blah. When you get into the DMs of someone acknowledging that, hey, thanks for your support on my post about managing high pressure careers through certain modalities, blah, 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 blah. What modalities do you find most effective? What areas have you found most challenging? You just want to get them talking about the area of expertise that you provide service in. We don't want to just be talking about sunshines, rainbows, pointless conversation. We want to be driving that conversation into purposeful conversation of discovery of resource, tools, and support and consult for business. Last couple things I want to say here is it's a bonus if when you go down into the DM funnel like this, you have a resource to share initially to create value instead of just immediately trying to sell them. If they share interest or challenge in an area that you're an expert in, can you offer something of value before you sell them so that they can experience you even more? So have you guested on someone's podcast about that topic? Can you share the podcast with them? What's really cool about guesting on a podcast is you're not really selling, you're just showcasing your expertise and you're like in their ear for an hour and you're really hearing the value and knowledge. It could be a downloadable resource. Maybe you created a template or a checklist, something of value. Like for me, it might be, oh, I see that you're looking to really grow their LinkedIn presence, right? Oh, that's so awesome. Not sure if you were aware, I happen to be a LinkedIn expert. I actually have this really cool checklist you might want to take a look at if it would be value. I didn't go straight to, hey, do you want to invest $5,500 in my LinkedIn program? They'd be like, bow, different energy, right?
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be in the room live with me and Sam Harper, my personal spiritual and mindset and energetics mentor, who's also my executive coach? Have you ever imagined what it would be like to get into an intimate room with us in my hometown at my country club to work with you on breakthroughs in business through breakthroughs with your body and what's going on between your two ears? We are here to expand you and your capacity to call in and hold more in your business. So Sam and I have gotten together and we've put together this live event bundle where you actually get to meet with us live for 2 full intimate days in my hometown in May, where we're going to do a modern entrepreneur live event with an intimate setting. And we're also adding to this experience our live event ticket for Burnout to All Out Live in Miami in October. My friends, There is something massively transformational about being in the room to do the work, all the way down to the meditation and the breath and the sound bowls being physically impeded with those frequencies on your body. Not to mention the human connection with other human beings who are growing and expanding as well. If getting in the room, experiencing this live is something that's on your bucket list, do not hesitate, because this is only available for a very limited time before the live event kicks off in May. Check out the details in the notes. We'd love to see you live in May and in October. See it as the energy and self-development injections to come live and experience throughout the year. We hope to see you guys there.
I want you to trust that your subject matter expertise in the feed over time is going to validate the sale in the DMs. You have to earn that trust. So that's where you work yourself into a consultation for close. I have a whole module on this as well, but the 2x2 follow-up, where we follow up in 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months. So I've given you the resource. I'm going to give you 2 days to mull over it, and then I'm going to come back to you. What did you think about it? What have you applied? Asking more open-ended questions that are going to lead into the sale, lead into the consult, lead into the invitation, right? What I want you to understand is that in all of those steps I just shared with you, none of it was public sales in the feed on LinkedIn. Does that make sense? None of it was. And so this is how I started. So I'm going to sum this up for you guys. Number one, become an authority anyway. You can map this content out and become an authority anyway. Number two is grow your ideal network. Number three is review engagement and comments on posts weekly for follow-up. This is going to be your gold in your network growth. Number four is sell in the DMs. If you want to go deeper on network growth and sell in the DMs, we have deeper modules on that. Today was really a specific topic on how do I get started with having a presence on LinkedIn, even though I'm employed. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys.
Thanks, guys, so much for listening in on today's podcast episode. And I can't wait for you to see my upcoming guest in the next episode. You are going to love this keynote speaker. Hey, here's the deal. If you liked this, please subscribe and leave a review. And you want the latest online business growth strategies and exclusive LinkedIn pro tips sent straight to your phone? Text the word update to 704-318-2285. That is, text the word update to 704-318-2285. Can't wait to see you guys. Come find me over on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you like to hang. I cannot wait to hear how you are enjoying and applying what you're learning. You guys reach out to me over on social, because I love hearing what's resonating with you. When you reach out to me and you send me those personal DMs, they really do impact the content I continue to bring forward to you. So again, come find me, Melissa_Henault over on Instagram, Melissa Henault over on LinkedIn and Facebook. Can't wait to see you guys over there.